This got me curious that look, there is definitely a reason why people are buying cars from other states. And I came home, I did a lot of research to try and understand like which are the best states to buy a car from. It's going to be a battle of the states. Let the battle of the states begin. We're going to look at the fan favorite, very popular car across the every part of country, the Hyundai Creta. The ex-showroom price of that car is 10.99 lakhs. Oh, by the way, fun fact, there are no luxury car showrooms in Pondicherry, but it is one of the states which has like a large number of luxury cars registered. Driving conditions, we're going to look at which state has the best roads. And believe it or not, there is actually a metric available in the Government of India's website. It's called. Before we start today's episode, I just wanted to quickly share that we are now a part of Zerota's media network. This Saturday, I had started my day by going to a petrol station close by, a cocoa fuel station close by, to get petrol added to my car. And then I had stopped on a red light along the way. At that red light, I noticed that there were a lot of cars that had car number plates from different states, right? So across Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Himachal, and so on. And I am in Gurgaon, right? So like no reason for so many cars to have so many different number plates. This got me curious that look, there's definitely a reason why people are buying cars from other states. And I came home, I did a lot of research to try and understand which are the cars that are the best, like which are the best states to buy a car from. Not just buy a car, but more from a car ownership standpoint, the cost of running. And so if you're curious like me, and by no means am I recommending that you go ahead and buy a car from these states, but if you're curious like me and you want to know that which are the states that are the best suited to buy a car, then you'll find today's video enjoyable. To keep things simple and light, I'm going to build a scoring mechanism, right? It's a scoring system. It's going to be a battle of the states. Let the battle of the states begin. All right, so the scoring system is going to be across 3 parameters. The first one is buying cost. Right? As the name explains it, we are going to look at what are the different registration charges, the RTO charges that vary across states. We will take an example of a car to get to this. We're going to look at the fan favorite, very popular car across the every part of country, the Hyundai Creta. We are going to look at the Hyundai Creta 1.5e manual petrol. The ex-showroom price of that car is 10.99 lakhs. And we'll be looking at what the on-road price is across all different states. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to take union territories into account because as we all know, union territories have very different RTO charges and fuel charges. And if you compare them to states, they will almost always win. It's no surprise that you see so many Pondicherry, especially in the south, you see so many Pondicherry registered luxury cars like a Porsche Cayenne and so on. But that's because they're very cheap there to get to register there. The drawback is that you can only sell it there. So because everybody knows the union territory car, it's hard to resell it in other states. Oh, by the way, fun fact, there are no luxury car showrooms in Pondicherry, but it is one of the states which has like a large number of luxury cars registered. Anyway, coming back to the criteria, the first criteria is going to be the buying cost. Like I said, we're going to look at the RTO registration charges across different states and rank them in accordance with whichever the state which has the Creta available at the lowest price on road is going to be rank 1. The state that has the Creta available at the highest price is going to be the last ranked. Second criteria is going to be driving conditions. You could buy a car for cheap, but if you don't have roads, then what use is that car and how much you're going to be able to enjoy it. So driving conditions, we're going to look at which state has the best roads. And believe it or not, there is actually a metric available in the Government of India's website. It's called the road density. So we're going to look at the road density by state, which state has the most dense road. I could have looked at the total roads constructed, but then that would tilt the scale in the favor of large states like Madhya Pradesh, because just because they have larger area, they'll have more roads. But I actually want to give smaller states a chance as well. And so we're going to look at road density as a metric. It's available. The third one that I'm going to look at is cost of running. The biggest component of cost of running is fuel costs, very easily available data. So we'll again do the similar ranking for fuel costs, and we'll see which states come out on top and which states are not doing as well. At the end of it, to summarize and to pick out the top states, the winners, we are going to add the ranks across the 3 criteria that I spoke about. The state which has the lowest total. So if, for example, I'm in Haryana, Haryana scores rank 1 in all 3. Obviously, there can't be a better. So the lowest score that the Haryana gets is 3, and no other state can beat Haryana because it's the lowest score. It's obviously not possible, but that's how you win. So basically, the states with the lowest score at the end of it will have other ones that are going to win, and the states with the highest scores are going to lose. So are you ready for the battle of the states? Let's dive in and see what the data tells us. Cool. So let's first look at what our data says about RTO charges, right? Like I was saying, the ex-showroom cost of this state of the ex-showroom cost of the Hyundai Creta is 10,99,000. I looked at a very popular car website. I'm not going to take names, but you can guess. I looked at a very popular car website. I selected this model and then I selected the capitals of all of these states to look at what the on-road price is. So that includes registration, RTO, GST, it includes the TDS and everything. And that's how we arrived at the final list of states. The state that has the cheapest car is actually the Creta, is for 11,74,267. That's it. So only a registration of 74,000 over 11 lakhs. And that state is Mizoram. So no surprises, the 7 sister states of the Northeast actually turn up on top. Mizoram is first, Arunachal Pradesh is second, Sikkim is third. A major state that appears here and is not in the Northeast is Himachal Pradesh. Again, at the 4th position, Himachal Pradesh comes at 12,18,000 rupees. You can get a Creta. And finally, the 5th state is Meghalaya. Among the major states, what the key call out would be, again, 6th is Assam, 7th is Manipur. So all the 7 sisters are actually doing really well there. I can also call out which are the states that have the worst of the lot. It is Karnataka. Sorry, folks, Karnataka folks, you have it bad. The Creta in Karnataka is going to set you back by 13,62,000 rupees. So that's a fair bit in RTO and registration. Close behind is Tamil Nadu at 13,75,000. So these are at the bottom of the ladder in terms of the RTO charges, right? Haryana, Delhi are towards the upper half of these ranks. But yeah, I think enough has been spoken about RTO charges. The winner here are the 7 sister states, followed by Himachal Pradesh as a major state. And Karnataka is right at the bottom. Now let's move on to the next criteria. Our next criteria are the driving conditions. For driving conditions, I looked at data.gov.in. It's an open source website by the government of India, and they have road density data for the year 2019. I know it's 5 years old, but it's the best we have, so we make do with what we have. Road density basically means that for every 1,000 square kilometers of surface area, how many kilometers of roads do you have? So, surprise, surprise, guess which state actually had the best road density in the country?
Something wasn't right. This wasn't adding up. The numbers weren't adding up. And the more I reflected, the more I realized that I needed to do some more research.
You will notice what happened all of a sudden. Why am I now in a brightly lit area wearing different clothes? What changed? Basically, after I shot the previous version of the video, it was done, by the way. I reflected on it and I realized that there is one catch. There's a slight nuance, especially when it comes to road density, that I must take into account, which will have an impact on the ranking. So I went back and reshot this section from here on, and I will tell you what changes, right? Road density is a metric that is given by the government of India. It's a sum of different types of roads. So there is the road density across national highways, state highways, urban roads, project roads, and rural roads. And that's where the catch lies, rural roads, right? I felt that rural roads is not accurate. We should not take that into account, given if you're driving a car on a rural road, it's not going to be a lot of fun, right? That's the whole purpose of this video, to find out states that are fun to own a car in. And so now I went back and I removed rural roads to find out the revised road density. And that's why this second cut is happening. So anyway, let's jump into what are the states that do the best on road density. And what is road density? Road density is basically the total length of the road in 1,000 square kilometers of area. Why am I choosing road density as the key metric? Because if I was to look at just the total length of the road, then the ratings would be biased towards larger states that have a lot of land mass and therefore a lot of road, which is not accurate, right? You want to give the smaller states also a chance. They're small and there's no fault of theirs. And so that's why road density is a good metric that allows even small states to thrive. So that's why road density, I have removed rural roads to make sure that we are looking at the right type of roads which are enjoyable to drive a car on. And so now let's jump into the rankings. The state that comes out on top when it comes to road density is actually Kerala. Right? 1,838 kilometers for every 1,000 square kilometers. We've removed union territories, by the way, so they are not there. So outside of union territories, it's Kerala. If we were to include union territories, fun fact, it's actually Chandigarh. It has 22,000 kilometers of urban national highway, state highway roads in a square area of 1,000 kilometers, which is crazy. So anyway, Kerala is number 1. Number 2 is West Bengal. I did not expect that. Number 3 is actually Haryana, the state I live in. And I'm not surprised because they actually have pretty good roads, especially the national and the state highways are pretty good here. So I'm glad to see it reflect in the data as well. Number 4th is Punjab. Not bad, Punjab. Good stuff. And to wrap out our number 5, it's Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh also rounds out our top 5 in terms of the road density. I know you're also curious which are the worst states. I will not leave you hanging. I'll tell you what are the worst states. The worst state with the lowest road density is Mizoram. Unfortunately, it's Mizoram, followed by Telangana. All right, Telangana, followed by Rajasthan. Again, I'm surprised to see Rajasthan in this list, but it is what it is. Followed by Manipur. So Seven Sisters. I think a lot of the rural roads there are not being counted now, and that's why they've dropped in rankings as opposed to the previous version where they were slightly higher up. And the last one is actually Assam. Assam was slightly better off when we had included it in the previous version, when the rural roads were included. After excluding rural roads, it actually falls down quite a bit. So that's your bottom 5 in terms of road density. Now let's move on to the last section of the video in terms of what the rankings are in terms of cost of ownership. Cost of ownership, the biggest cost of ownership is fuel charges, right? So very simple, fuel charges, very easily publicly available data. Again, I have removed the union territories because they are very cheap when it comes to fuel. So I'm just going to look at the states. The state which has the lowest fuel in the country outside of union territories is Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh comes out on top again. It's not a coincidence that you see so many Himachal Pradesh number plates. So it did well in RTOs. It did not do as well in road density. And now it's again back with fuel prices. You know where this is going. So anyway, Himachal Pradesh is the number 1. Arunachal Pradesh is number 2. Uttarakhand is number 3. Gujarat is number 4. And Uttar Pradesh is number 5. Those are your top 5 states from a fuel which have the lowest prices of fuel. I will also tell you which are the ones with the highest prices of fuel. So the highest price of fuel anywhere in the country, turns out it is in Telangana. Again, Telangana is consistently at the bottom of the rankings. So Telangana is the one where a liter of petrol costs 109.69, which is crazy. In the bottom 5, the second one is Andhra Pradesh with 109.68, followed by Bihar, followed by West Bengal, and finally Kerala. These are your bottom 5 states when it comes down to fuel prices. So now we're done with cost of ownership, fuel prices. It's time to reveal the overall winner. Before we reveal the overall winner, just a quick reminder, the lower the rank you have scored in your respective sections, the better it is. And therefore, the lower your score is, the higher your overall rank is. So let's start with, and I'll break this down into 3 segments, the top 5 states, the bottom 5 states, and the middle states, right? Which are in between. So let's start with the worst states. Why not? The worst states, and this has been consistent, even with the road density change, without the road density change. One thing hasn't changed, that the worst state for a car ownership is Telangana. Surprise, surprise. Bad in road density, bad in fuel prices. Overall, it ranks at the bottom. So Telangana is the worst of the lot. Second worst is Rajasthan. Third is Andhra. Fourth worst is Bihar. Fifth worst is Madhya Pradesh. And sixth worst is Karnataka. So those are at the bottom of the pack from a car ownership standpoint. Let's get to the middle states. The middle states are neither too good, neither too bad. It starts with Sikkim, followed by Meghalaya, followed by Goa. Then we have a tie between Tripura and Uttarakhand. And then we have Jharkhand, which rounds out this pack. Let's start with and now I'm going to talk to you about the top 6 states which are the best in terms of car ownership. In the number 6 place with 29 points total. And remember, the lower the points, the better it is. So with 29 points, we have Punjab. In the 5th position, it's a tie between 2 states with 28 points. Both have scored 28 points. It's Nagaland and Uttar Pradesh. In the number 4th place, we have Arunachal Pradesh. In now the top 3, guys, the big one, the top 3, and it's good that these are big states. In the top 3, the 3rd position with 25 points is Himachal Pradesh. No surprises there. It's been doing well consistently. The second best state with 23 points is Gujarat. And finally, drum roll, the winner of today's video, the state with the best car ownership is Haryana. I'm extremely excited that I get to live in a state which has a lot of flaws, make no mistake, but at least in these arbitrary rankings, it has done well. So Haryana with 20 points is on top. I also want to call out which before in the previous version of the video when I had recorded this, the top state was actually Assam. But after I removed rural roads, Assam has fallen through the charts and it's nowhere in the top 5 anymore. And that's why I felt it was important because rural roads were actually not the right metric. And that's why I changed the video. So with that, let's wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed my rabbit hole exploration of what are the states looking like and why are there so many people who are buying cars from different states. I'm not telling you to go buy a car from any of these states. I'm just purely doing this for entertainment reasons. Data doesn't tell the full story. This is publicly available Government of India data, but it's slightly dated. This data is from 2019 from data.gov.in. But I would love to hear in the comment section below that qualitatively you live in these states. What has your experience been of car ownership? Do you agree with these rankings? Do you disagree with these rankings? And so on. If you made it this far, I'd love for you to subscribe to the video. It helps me, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me churning out content. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing it with your friends. With that, let's wrap up today's video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.